Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here, Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour Podcast.
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 281. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are joined together, which that means we have done... Oh, God. Don't. If you're going to touch me, Brian, lower.
I don't want to, Jim.
Do it. This won't take long.
Damn it.
Either way, I'll be crying after. But anyway, yes, we are together, which means that we have done some recording. The review for Postal 2 will be out sometime soon, as of this recording, basically. And, we're here. It is not even noon yet, and we've got beers flowing because that's the pitfall of the page, I guess.
I mean, yeah, this is already beer number 2 after the Postal 2 review. So, I can honestly say I don't know the last time I started drinking at 10:30 or 11 in the morning, but...
Yeah, which means by like 3 o'clock, I'm going to have that nice started drinking, stop drinking headache. So can't wait to look forward to that.
Don't worry, babe. You'll do good.
It's true. Thanks, honey.
So, yeah, thank you guys for joining once again. As we said, we are starting off early. So we started off with just Coors as the simple Postal 2 because, let's be honest, that's what that game deserves. And you'll hear more about that from our review. But as far as when Jim and I get together... I wanted to get this thing called Bear Hug. So I've had their beers, I feel like once or twice before, but I am such a sucker for mixed variety packs. And Bear Hug is their like specialty IPA brand from Goose Island. It's 7.8%. It's a West Coast IPA. All their IPAs are strong as shit.
It's 11:26 in the morning right now.
So... I don't know if our analysis of the beer will be correct, because as Jim said, I still didn't even have breakfast. So this is, this is meal 1 of the day, Jim.
Wow. Jesus. I thought me just having a bagel was bad.
I mean, I had coffee. That counts.
Yeah, it's perfect. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what's funny is I feel like I'm so used to only going right to doubles or hazies that having just a straight IPA... Is it a downgrade or is it a return to form? Not that you and I were ever huge fans of IPAs, but I feel like, is it too boring now? Is it like trying to go back to missionary? You're like, it serves its purpose, but come on.
It gets the job done. But yeah, I mean, there is a ton of lacing. The head sticks around for a while. It's hazy in there without even being a hazy IPA. But yeah, back to your point, it's just like, it's a thing you can do anywhere.
Yeah, you're like, okay, it's here. I'm going to have it. It's fine. I just took a sip. What I will say is I do not taste 7.8%. That could be a problem.
Yeah, and it's surprisingly not that hoppy either. It smells hoppier than it tastes.
It smells super hoppy. I get a lot of like, is it pineapple or some kind of citrus? Maybe grapefruit. It doesn't have any of the write-ups. Thank God.
No.
But, yeah, no.
But, Bri, you can still hang 10 on a wave of citrusy hops and pine.
Ah! Jim, do you have a problem with them trying to be too West Coast when it's from Chicago?
It's a little...
You're fine with
whatever.
it.
Whatever. I don't care. I've seen so many stupid beer gimmicks over these years. I just don't care anymore.
Jim, are you just completely jaded to everything?
Yes. Throw whatever dumb shit you want on there. I don't care. Oh, no. Chicago's appropriating California culture. Who cares? And on a beer.
Jim, I love how your baseline is just, I hate it all.
just straight misery. We Napoleons are a curmudgeonly group.
Yeah. Poor Jim.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So, Chambers, what have you been able to play since last week?
If
anything.
Really not that much. I'm starting to do the game capture now for Berserk Boy, which as of right now, as this recording, is our last Patreon review request game to go through.
Yep.
So I think there's a few people left still have to get them in there, but yeah, I played through it mostly. I still haven't finished it, but I'm like, all right, I got to get some capture. And of course, you know, life being great, I had a ton of computer issues trying to start that, but I figured it out. My laptop's old. I gotta upgrade.
Yeah.
Gotta do that before those tariffs come in. Oh boy, all them parts are gonna skyrocket. So I gotta hop on that pronto.
So, not that you're gonna give away your full opinion, but when I saw that we were gonna do this game, my fear was, oh, is this Mighty Number 9 all over again?
Oh no, it's way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll be looking forward to it. So yeah,
No, it's a very you haven't touched it yet. It's a very well made title. I have to say that.
yeah. So I mean, I've still been. This is the first Call of Duty I think I prestige based on multiplayer in 5 years.
Damn.
Like, I've played the other ones. I usually do zombie mode, Warzone, but like sticking with just playing multiplayer, I'm having the time of my life. Now, granted, I'm sticking to just Nuketown and fucking people up. And Jim, I really, I know you hate any form of like trying to watch probably videos on that stuff, but that grab mechanic where you can grab someone and then they can hear you prox talk to them is Call of Duty knew exactly what they're doing. And it's funny because some people are so aggravated. They're like, all right, we get it. It's a joke. But you're still basically showing yourself, slamming them up against the wall like you're fucking them. And you're talking shit while you're doing it. You know that's right up my alley. So you know I do that all the time.
God, I hope they don't edit that out.
Like, it's still one of the funniest things. Of all the goofy shit they added, I love that they have that in there.
Was it one of the more recent Halos or something took out teabagging basically? I forget what it was.
Oh, yeah, I forget if it was Halo, but yeah, one of them like took that. It's like, come on, man, like for real. Like maybe it's just because we grew up in the Call of Duty lobbies, Jim.
Wow.
And it was a different time.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no. So Call of Duty, been loving it, been really enjoying it. Other than Postal 2, which I was finally able to start getting capture footage. I don't know what the issue was. I adjusted like 2 settings, and finally it worked after like 5 tries. So I've been playing through that, and that's why we recorded the footage. I was like, finally I can get the footage so we can finish that off. Outside of that, I don't know if I haven't touched a single game. I was on a Dead by Daylight tear for a while. Haven't played that. So yeah, it's just Call of Duty, and that is really the go-to.
Yeah, kind of a light week, but this is also the most consistent we've recorded in a couple months. So.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yes, you are.
I did play a game. And I will be doing a bonus content for our Patreon subscribers because I finally got the physical copy of the Retro Realms of Halloween and Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I've been streaming that. So I'm up to, I think, like the last level or level before last. This motherfucker is deceptively hard. I don't know why they had to make it like a difficult friggin' beat 'em up, but it is. It's really fun, really well made. But son of a bitch, I was like, why is this so hard?
Huh.
So, yeah, I play downstream, talk about consistency. I think that's 4 weeks in a row now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying the shit out of it. This week I'm technically traveling for work, but I should be back by Thursday night. So my goal is to just finish off that, and then probably I'll start Ash vs. the Evil Dead. But as I said, if you are a supporter of us on Patreon for the $1 tier, I'm going to do a full unboxing video. I haven't opened it. I wanted to leave it alone until I got to record it. So that's for you guys.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. No Krusty Corner this week, but what are you going to do? No pervy news in the gaming world.
There is. You just haven't uncovered it.
That is true. I mean, at the very least, Mattel accidentally put a porn site on the back of their new doll for the Wicked movies.
Are you serious?
So the website on the back says www.wicked.com, which, Wicked, the porn company that's been around for like 30 years. Like one of the top adult contents for a while, like movie studios.
I have to look into this. Go on.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, kids doll thing. It has the internet website on the back, and yeah, it takes you to a porn site. So massive recall there. I'm almost tempted to try to go to Walmart to see if I can pick one up beforehand.
Damn it, Jim.
I have a problem, Bri.
So,
Daddy, I want to play with the Wizard of Oz dolls. No,
could
these are
they?
for me.
Oh, it really is.
Told you.
Okay. So, how could they fuck that up that bad? Like, that is a big fuck up.
Bri, when you live in the Pornhub life, the realm that we're in right now, you don't venture off too much. It's a lost art to have a pure, dedicated production site like that.
Damn it, Jim.
What? Not all just bang bros, Bri.
I have no comment.
Good old days of Captain Stabbing.
Fuck. Stop. So, Chambers, speaking of Patreon,
Bri's remembering nuts of old right now.
what What questions do we have this week? You Captain Stabbing. God damn it.
Patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single episode of this Power Hour podcast. Right. We were talking about Postal 2 being the time capsule of 2003. Captain Stabbing. Oh, boy. First up from Kev called, what do you think is the best example of passing the torch in movies, TV, shows, comics, music, pop culture, etc.? This could be when a character is taken on by a new actor, a show gets a new host, or a band member is replaced.
Sure as fuck is not Linkin Park right now. I'll tell you that.
Everyone was excited for that girl for about like 2 weeks, and then you never heard from it again.
Here's my thing. When a situation like Linkin Park, I think especially, bands especially, I feel this way. I don't know how you feel, but like when the lead singer dies, you just call it something else. They did Fort Minor. Like Mike Chioda did that. Like you can just become something else. Don't call yourself Linkin Park anymore with someone new.
But Brian, you need a payday.
Listen,
No
no
one's selling out an arena for Fort Minor, Brian.
I know, but here's the deal. And I hate to say this because I know you're a drummer. Drummers, bassists, guitarists, you can all be replaced. The lead singer, at the end of the day, like that's the thing. It's, yeah, I don't like that. Like, doesn't Grateful Dead have like 1 million members at this point?
Yeah, they've had a ton, and a lot of them have been dying off. The most realistic one for your example is gonna be Leonard Skinner, because every member except for like one random guitar player died in a plane crash. So he still goes around as Leonard Skinner, even though he's the only one from the heyday of the band.
See, I as a band member, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean,
they should change. Now, granted, I know for money purposes that's why, but don't you think like, okay, once it's done, it's done?
I mean, in a way, like there's been people who've pulled it off before. Like I think you just have to go. Like, here's the problem with Linkin Park. She's trying to sound like Chester. Like they tried to bring in a person who like could pull off Chester, kind of.
His scream.
Yeah. And like she can, but it's like it only seems to ever really work out. But you're just like, this is an imitation. Where like other bands, like when AC/DC went to Brian Johnson, or when like David Gilmour took over in Pink Floyd, like you almost have to go in like a radically different direction and just make it work for it to like really work and hold on.
But keeping
or
the
like
name,
when Phil Collins took over for fucking Peter Gabriel and Genesis, shit like that.
But my point to all those is like I guess I have an issue. Like we've seen it with movies, we've seen it in video games. They just reuse the name over and over again. I have enough issues with that. But with bands especially, like because now there will be a point in history where someone looking back and they'll click Linkin Park, and she will be the first that comes up. And there's that caveat of like, no, that's not Linkin. Like, I don't know. I feel like just change it out.
Yeah, I mean, right now Pantera's on tour, but like both Abbotts are dead, and like the band really revolved around Dimebag and Vinny. So it's like no one wants to hear like Heroin, Voice Ruin, Phil Anselmo, and fucking Rex Brown, the bassist. Who cares?
As your favorite band, if Rush replaced their singer and still called themselves Rush, would you be okay?
They couldn't replace Geddy. And actually, credit to them, Neil died, their legendary drummer, and they just stopped. So,
as they should. But even if they got a new drummer, who let's say he could emulate,
like
him,
say they put like a Portnoy or Danny Carey or someone like that in there, yeah.
Would you be okay knowing the drummer's gone and they kept going with Rush?
I'd go see it. Like I want to be like that butthurt about it.
But if they got Geddy, if they replaced his voice,
yeah, you can't replace Geddy.
But what if they're like, oh, here's a girl that sounds just like him?
Yeah,
that's how I feel right now.
It's the front man thing. It's so important.
So yeah, when it goes to passing the torch, I feel like music is a no-go. There is no passing the torch with music. Movies, like characters, like you figure like Batman, 007, they all turn to somebody else, but it's never a passing the torch. It's just like it's time for someone new. And video games, I'm trying to think of an example of a video game where. Fuck, this is. I love this question, but I'm struggling right now.
Yeah, like I'm not a Doctor Who fan, so I've never seen the passing of the torches there. I'm sure there's been a couple good ones.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Ball, famously, like Gohan was going to become after the Cell Saga the new face of the franchise, and then Toriyama realized like, I don't really like writing Gohan, so he just brought Goku back. So that was a perfect passing of the torch until it wasn't.
Like I think so the only time I can think right off the top of my head of like a clear they pass the torch is the Marvel movies with Captain America, and he gave his shield to Sam, Falcon.
Yeah.
But I remember everyone being pissed because the whole thought was it's going to go to Bucky, like it did in the comics, and like that's how it was going to be. Never really liked Falcon. I'm like, okay, it doesn't make sense. He's not superhero. He just flies. But so that wasn't a good one to me. Fuck. Damn, this is really... Do you accept things like I said, though? The Batman or 007, just roles changing. So it's not a formal passing of the torch.
Yeah, I mean, what do you call it? Well, roles changing, that's something different. But, like, in comics, like, Flash and all the different ones, like, it can be done well, like, say, when, like, a sidekick takes over the mantle. Like, after Barry Allen died, and then Wally West became Flash. Like, he took over the mantle because Barry, sacrificed himself. Like, you have stuff like that where it can be done well. Flash seems to do it really well for the most part. But yeah, it's kind of tough because every once in a while you just go, yeah, but I still like the old guy. Like, there's been like 4 Blue Beetles, and like they've done an okay job passing the torch.
There's never a good Blue Beetle.
The first one to Ted Kord was a good passing the torch. The Jaime Reyes and like going back to the old Scarab, it was different. It was fine.
Yeah. Fuck. I truly can't think of a single video game moment where like character passes the torch, and movies other than characters being replaced. I don't have an answer for this one just because I can't think of a good one.
Yeah, it's tough.
I love that question.
Something I have to really think
something like
about.
I want to now dive into deeper, but yeah, I don't have an answer, so I'll drink.
Yep, there you go. And I'll say Dragon Ball almost did it perfectly. All right, next up from Sandy N. What is the most embarrassing song on your phone right now? P.S. You're doing a great job, babe. Thanks, babe.
You know what's funny is when I think of songs on my phone, I don't know what you use for music. Like, we use Amazon Unlimited.
Actually, I'm still a boomer. Like, if I want a song, I'll just pay the $2 and download it to my phone. Off Apple Music.
So I still have like all my old like whatever pre-2013 like downloaded songs. But I haven't paid for an iTunes song or anything like that. So I don't actually have music on my phone other than through an app. And I can't even pick it because I share it with my kids and my wife. So, but me personally, if I had to think of a song that would be embarrassing. You know me, I'm not really embarrassed by shit. So I'm trying to think of a song that would be considered embarrassing. Probably, okay, I guess the closest thing would be Rainbow Connection. That was done by the chick from Paramore and Weezer.
Okay.
It was a cover. I guess that would be the most embarrassing.
Yeah, probably the most embarrassing for me will be like a guy basically translated and did a cover of the theme song to Dragon Ball GT. So,
but that's on par for you. That's not
that
embarrassing enough.
Right. It's a nice little love song that was randomly a Dragon Ball theme song. Good old Dan Kokoroko Hikareketeku.
Fuck. What is her name? Haley, the chick from Paramore.
Haley Williams or something?
Is it Williams?
I forget offhand.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for her.
I have a shitload of Peter Cetera on my phone, but I am not embarrassed about that.
That's why
Uncle Pete can do no wrong.
I think the problem is you and I aren't embarrassed. We should be embarrassed by some of this stuff, for sure.
Oh, someone heard my phone and they went, "What the hell is this gay shit?" I went, "Damn right."
Well, what's great is when my wife, if I have my list on, she's like, "Why do you just have like movie soundtracks? There's no like lyrics." I'm like, because I like it.
Yeah.
Fucking Hans Zimmer. He's a artiste.
He is.
And
get some culture.
And it'll go from that though to like hardcore rap to metal to all of a sudden a pop like Skilo. You know, like it's gonna hop around so much that you're like
Skilo.
You're like sitting there. You're like, the fuck are you listening to? By the way, I went down a deep rabbit hole.
By the way, I wish I was a baller. And then the seat a little bit taller. God, this fucking chair.
It's adorable.
So for those just listening on iTunes, this chair I always sit in when we record is like 6 inches lower than goddamn Brian's, and I always look like I'm 4 foot tall.
And what's
here.
funny is I always try, like, this is as low as this seat goes, and I feel bad because he looks adorable.
Thanks, babe.
I like that question though.
Yep. Next up from Burn Retinas, Call of Duty has ragdolled the Battlefield series for the last decade. It's a time for EA to just retire it and stick with Apex Legends, Or can it be salvaged? And Jim is still a babe. Woohoo! Look at this.
Is it?
I'm getting the vapors over here.
All right, so here's the deal with Battlefield. As someone who's always been the Call of Duty guy, I love Battlefield too. I think the game is more impressive from like the destructible environments, and when I've played it, I've had a shit ton of fun. But I don't know why they're on such a like. I haven't played the last 2 games, but I heard, what was it, 2042 or whatever?
Something like that.
Didn't that get fucking just torn apart with the reviews?
I think it did pretty bad, yeah.
I don't understand why. Like, I feel like those games, like, you know what you're getting into with it. They look impressive. I don't want them to give up because I don't want one game in town. Like, Call of Duty and with their Warzone, they're on their own thing with FPS. I feel like then you have Fortnite and PUBG and all these other things. Apex Legends, I'm sure it's huge.
Yeah, it is.
I don't consider it in the same stratosphere as Call of Duty at all. Competitively, I'm sure it is. But, like, from a casual, no one I know casually would ever play Apex Legends.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who plays it.
So, I don't want Battlefield to go away. It's kind of like as cool of a thing it was when I was a kid when WWE bought WCW. I didn't want just one thing. So, yeah, I hope EA can figure out how to resurrect the Battlefield. I don't know what they got to do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wonder what it is about Call of Duty that has... Maybe because when you do play the game, it is just a little bit more casual. It's not so technical. It's kind of like Androids and iPhones.
Yeah.
Grown-ups have iPhones. Nerds have Androids.
Yeah. It's the old
Android's
saying.
a better thing, right?
Yeah,
But
you don't get laid with a green text bubble.
there you go.
But yeah, something can. And like, there was a good 5 years where like Battlefield was by far way more liked than Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like they were running on all cylinders. Like, you know, Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2 and like that era. It was really like top tier, and then it just fell off, and I don't know what the hell happened. So it's weird. Just the quality in general of the games went down. Probably developers moved on to something else. I don't know.
I don't know what has caused it. And here's the deal. I'm not going to buy into the... What game was it with Battlefield where they first started getting shit? They thought people were being anti-woke because they had a chick on the cover.
Well, Battlefield 1, which is supposed to be in World War I, had a girl with like a cyber arm in it.
I mean,
and everyone
the
like
cyber
lost their
arm, I
mind
think,
about
was the
that.
bigger issue. But yeah, I know people want to paint this narrative. Just like, have you seen, by the way? I'm not even the internet guy, but I've seen a lot that now people apparently today are claiming AVGN had influence on angry people.
That was okay. There were 2 tweets that went on. We're recording this on the 11th. Is this?
Yes.
So there are 2 tweets that really took off, and in his post-election landscape, oh boy. So one was basically kind of blaming him for his Ghostbusters review when he said he didn't want to review Ghostbusters.
They're still talking about that?
Yep. And then there was an obvious bait post. Yep, they sure fucking are.
Oh my god.
And then there was an obvious bait post about saying that AVGN like basically caused the toxic gamer atmosphere. Like it was obvious bait, and everyone took
Fell
it.
for it.
Like all these gamers that I know, big and small, all these different things. Like it's very cool that we rush to defend AVGN. Like he's a super nice guy. He's never done anything wrong to anybody.
Oh.
Like obviously we all defend James Rolfe to their life, but man, that was the baitiest bait that ever baited, and it's a shame that guy doesn't have a blue check mark because he would have made bank on that tweet.
I can't believe we're still talking about the Ghostbusters review, which history has proven.
Then one's like,
It
well,
was
he
also
was
just a terrible fucking movie.
he was a misogynist because the later Ghostbusters movies are worse, and he reviewed them and said he liked them. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, since they had the original cast.
Two things
that
can
simple.
suck.
Yeah, it's also original cast. That was his whole point. Okay, but getting back to our point, I do not want to see Battlefield ever get completely squashed, because I think you need some type of military-style shooter to compete with Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty killed Medal of Honor. It's eradicated.
Yep.
So it's just Battlefield and this. I don't want just one because...
SOCOM. We need the return of SOCOM.
it's something. I mean,
Get us a good propaganda shooter back.
Because let's be honest, we love Call of Duty, but like, you're getting the same game every year. Like, even with different developers and all the shit with Black Ops and Modern Warfare, it's basically the same shit. So I'm at the point where I'm like, no, I need something to force them to keep innovating and keep it interesting.
Yep, I agree.
So, yeah.
Duty needs its AEW. That's what it needs.
Yes.
WWE got a lot better once they came around.
No, I'm saying yes. I think AEW has been overhyped, but I do agree that because
the product sucks, but
because of them, I think WWE peripherally sounds like it got better.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
All right, and last up from Todd Howard sucks. Thoughts on the new Dragon Age game?
Well, I could talk about that. No, actually, I have no idea.
I've never played a single Dragon Age game. What do you call it? I know there's all the talk about, like, you know, what they've done with the races and to create a character and how there's no boobage, basically, and all that stuff, which I think is dumb. And, like, you know, it is dumb. Fuck. When there's a medieval game and they're, like, being like, well, my pronouns are actually, it's like, you know, you don't need to have pronouns in general in a medieval fantasy setting. Like, why do we need to be, you know, lectured to?
Well, in a create a character, create a character is one of those weird things where it's like, unless you actually, the only time I ever thought create a character was useful was in wrestling games because you're seeing your character. Even in Bethesda, I'm like, I don't give a fuck because I'm not going third person mode. I don't need to care what my guy looks like or anything. And in most of these games, and I'm just going to assume, I don't know, I doubt you hear your character's voice in Dragon Age. So, like, when they're like, oh, have your voice, like, I don't care what the fuck he grunts like. Like, it makes no difference to me. Yeah, knock all that shit off. All I've seen is negativity about this game, and we have friends who have been involved with this company and developed it. So I've heard on the background, like, I don't know why they took such a departure from what apparently Dragon Age was. Like, they went with this way. All I hear is negativity about it. I have zero idea if it's actually good or bad. I hope they learn from any mistakes, if they made any mistakes.
Right. I mean, I guess I don't even know if they made mistakes or shit like that. And like you see conflicting reports, it's like, oh, they have 80,000 people playing at a time on Steam, and then there's like some reports are like, oh, but it's a massive bomb and underperforming. It's like, I don't know what's true and what's not with this shit. All I know is like I don't know, like I have absolutely no care about what your pronouns are. If you're non-binary, I don't give a fuck. Live your life. I don't care. But like a fantasy game, you can take a break from it. I don't need like a demon flimflorb, whatever the fuck they're called, telling me that they're non-binary. It's just like, you can just be a flimflorb.
I also like
that could be an intersex non-binary thing.
I actually
just be like,
want less options. At this point, I'm like, I'm just trying to get to play the game. I don't give a fuck about the bridge of my nose size. Like, I'm tired of like creating a character and
I always just hit auto create. I don't care.
Yeah, like I'm so at the point where I'm like, if you ask me another question about creating my character, it's pissing me off because I'm like, that takes 30 minutes. If you spend a little bit of time, yeah, you could do the gym route. But even if you do that, then you got to answer all these other shits. It's like, can I just play the game?
Right, that's your privilege by having a real life. You have to live through your video game, bro.
But yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, neither of us have played it, and I've never played a single Dragon Age, and probably never will.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Origins was like awesome. I think that was a big one.
Wasn't that the one that did it win Game of the Year? Like it won.
Yeah, I think like back in like 2013 or something. Yeah. Yeah, that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week. So once again, thank you to everyone out there for the support. We always appreciate it. Keep an eye out. Brian will have his little $1 tier extra content over here. Check out the Crusty Corners as they come out. And we also have the bonus episodes and game review requests, all that good stuff over on Patreon. Go check out the tiers. And as always, if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, hit those other platforms up. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave some reviews and comments. Anything you can do, it'll help the page.
Thank you, guys. Truly appreciate it. Keep checking it out and get those questions in.
Yeah.
All right, Chambers. So, not a ton of new news in gaming, but there was one big announcement, which was first rumored, speculated, and then formally told about the Switch 2. And
yes, so Nintendo's official Twitter account, Nintendo, the Japan one. This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to the Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date.
Good news. Let me start baseline. This is really good news. I think it's surprising news because Nintendo's Nintendo. And in general, their consoles, home consoles, do not do backwards compatibility. I know Game Boy ones do.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm shocked is people seemed so, like, a lot of people seem, like, very happy. They're like, oh, thank God. And the Nintendo Defender seemed to really step up and show how much balls they suck in Nintendo. Of like, they can do no wrong. What are you talking about? You're an idiot if you thought. Because here's the thing they didn't address, and a lot of people had the same question I did, is this the actual physical cartridges or just digital?
Yep, which we have not heard an answer to yet.
We don't know. If it's just digital, I don't know, the Switch, because I know with Xbox and shit, we've joked that they're all basically digital keys. They do carry over to other things. Does your Switch cartridge carry over as a digital key?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So
Because it should be shown as a game you have on your account.
That's
in
my
my theory.
Yeah, but then again, because it's physical, if I let you borrow mine and it shows up on your account when you're playing it, there's no way to validate that.
True.
So I would say let's see what happens.
You know what my favorite part of this announcement was?
Go on.
This happened at 8:26 in the p.m. on November 5th, which was election night, and around 8:30 at night was when a lot of the results were starting to pour in, and literally everyone was just like, "Not all right. This is cool, but not the time, Nintendo. God damn it."
Are you saying they're behind the times, Jim?
Yeah, they could have been a little more. They could have thought that out a little better. But yeah, to your point, like the Switch famously made a killing reselling games from the Wii U because no one had a Wii U and charging full price for it. So, like, if you said gun to the head, what is the backwards compatibility? I'm gonna say software. I would be shocked if the hardware is.
They keep it the exact same.
Yeah, the exact same carts and stuff like that. Like, obviously, they're just little memory flash carts and shit like that. So it easily could be done. And as we all know, I've been wrong before. So I have no problem saying that. So, but yeah, gun to my head, I would say probably just software because it's easier.
Have they ever had the same physical media type from console to console?
The closest we came was DS to 3DS, where you could stick a DS cart inside your 3DS and it worked.
Okay.
And like, again, like, you know, Game Boy to Game Boy Color
was the original. Yeah, they kept that.
They worked like that. But for like an actual console, you could stick a GameCube disc into the earlier revisions of a Wii, and it would just work.
It would.
Yeah.
Even though they were so much smaller.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it wasn't like a separate slot or anything. You just put it in the same disk drive.
Huh. It's impressive.
Yep.
I didn't realize. So
then obviously Wii to Wii U, but that's an easier one.
Did all games work?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. If they come out,
I mean, the Wii was basically just an overclocked Wii U or GameCube anyway, so it probably wasn't the hardest thing in the world.
Sure. So I kind of view. Yeah, I would be shocked. I'd be very happy for Switch fans that if your cart actually fit in there, if it goes digital, unless they figure out a way to say, like, this translates, let's face it, Nintendo is money grabbing like a motherfucker. So, yeah, until I see them announce that, I'm not holding out hope that your carts are going to work. They should. I'm saying they should.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
It would be awesome if it does, but I would be surprised.
A chance to milk the now. All right, let's say.
Look, man, people bought like 15 versions of the fucking Switch just because of a different like color scheme.
That's what I mean.
So
So it's like, yeah, when they're like, okay, what are there, 5,000 games for the Switch? Maybe that's under, I don't know. Let's say, though, they're like, all right, for these 1,000 games, now you get the upgraded version with the Switch 2 that you can just buy. I don't know. I'd be shocked. But, yeah, why are so many Nintendo fans just so willing to suck them off, Jim?
It's that brand loyalty, Brian. Oh, and apparently, what do you call it? Google says there's apparently been 10,971 games released for the Switch.
Jesus.
And this was as of 6 months ago from a Reddit post.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're probably over 12, 13,000 now.
God. That's too much.
Between the eShop, physical, and all that bullcrap, that's a lot.
Too much.
What an age we live in. God tier console, Brian.
It's too much. It's
God
too
tier.
much. How much was the PlayStation 2?
What, when it released?
No, just in general
Oh,
games.
I think that was over like 10,000.
Yeah.
But that didn't have an eShop, though.
I know. I'm just saying. It's too much. Period. Too much.
Yeah, lots a lot.
So, yeah, I'm very curious. You know we're going to follow this up, but I was more as the non-internet guy. I saw little skerfuffles about this shit, and I'm like, yo, if you're a defender of Nintendo and someone's just saying they're excited, chill your fucking tits.
Oh, yeah.
Period. Chill out. So, don't have FOMO.
I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
Don't you dare.
Jimmy, did you like that one?
That was good. I'll give you that one.
All right.
Piece of shit. But moving on, the next topic we have, there's not a ton to say about it. It's not, but it's like not surprising, but it is a little surprising at the same time. Basically, Warner Brothers admits that Multiverses underperformed, contributing to another $100 million hit to revenue to its game business. So it was a free-to-play Smash Bros. Style brawler that had basically a ton of like all these different licenses from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So you would have Batman versus Scooby-Doo and not SpongeBob, but like a bunch of other shit. And yeah, I mean, I remember when it came out and people were excited for it and they would play it for a little bit and then it went away and then you never heard about it again.
So I played it. I actually really enjoyed it. I like what I love about those. We talked about before. I think one of the most underrated games is the PlayStation All-Stars. That game was well done, had more interesting characters, and I think some of the shit they did with like the levels. Remember how like in those levels they would always like in the middle change up? I feel like later
Yes.
I feel like later Smash Brothers actually stole that from them. Like they got inspired by that because before then they didn't do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like maybe like the Kraid's lair in Melee, like, you know, just would like kind of like move around and shit like that.
A tiny bit, but yeah, for it to completely like shift. This game, I played it. I didn't think like it was like, oh my god, the best, but like the fact that you were like Mortal Kombat versus Scooby-Doo versus Game of Thrones, like all these weird mixture of characters, like I'm always for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how they took $100 million hit. Like I don't know what they invested into it because all the IPs they used were shit they already had. So I don't know what they spent it on. It could not have been development. That's the thing from the article, and I tried diving deeper because WB Games, like right now, technically they have Mortal Kombat. They have that fucking Harry Potter Quidditch.
Well,
shit.
it's funny you bring that up because Warner Brothers Games' only new game during 2024 was Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, which failed to make an impression, according to this article.
Wait, was MK1 not this year?
I guess not.
Huh. I thought it was January. Okay.
Maybe. Maybe it was right on the straddle the line. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, apparently, what do you call it? WB said they took another $100 million impairment due to the underperforming releases, primarily Multiverses this quarter, bringing total write-down year-to-date to over $300 million in our game business, a key factor to this year's studio decline. Holy crap.
So that's when I hear those losses, like, okay, the multiverse.
And Multiverses had a peak of about 153,000 players, which is very good. But right now, it like had a peak of like maybe 1,700 with like typically like 600 people at a time.
Okay, other than Smash, though, like, I feel like just, what would you even call that? Arena fighting games?
Actually, Mortal Kombat 1 was the year before because that was a big thing to
was?
say that it had a lot of profit.
Okay. What do you consider those? Arena fighting games?
Yeah. Arena,
So,
mascot fighters.
Honestly, in this day and age, not talking about competitive scene, is there an appetite for arena fighters at all? Like, in general, even Smash will always sell good whenever they release the next one. But the original Smash was, what, 2017, 2018?
Oh, the Smash on the Wii? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like, or Switch, that was like 2017, yeah, for Ultimate.
So, yeah, I think that's just a genre that, like, I don't think people are as into as they used to be.
And it's so dominated by one type of game, too, that like,
Yeah, I don't
Everyone
even
just
know.
looks at it and goes, it's not Smash. And then they go back to Smash. Until something's that good. It's like Mario Kart. Like, there's a ton of, like, kart racing combat games that come out there. And, like, Crash Team Racing was the closest you ever got to toppling it. But at the end of the day, it's Mario Kart.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
just dominated by one game.
So I don't understand the math there though. How they lost $100 million on this game alone.
Probably between development and, advertising. Like anything else.
Still, like, I feel like I didn't see shit for advertisement for that game.
I would see a lot of YouTube ads beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, unless they just paid the shit out of, like, I know didn't they have, like, LeBron in that game?
Yeah, I think
Probably
so,
'cause of
yeah.
Space Jam, I assume.
Space Jam, yeah.
So maybe they just had to pay out the ass for IPs that they already own. I don't know. But either way, just like I said about EA, I don't think this is a good thing. I think I want to see other shit do well because it can maybe make Smash better in the future. Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. You tell me.
No, you tell me. How about this? I always tell you. You tell me this time.
I mean, listen, we already have a juggernaut with Nintendo, and now they're going after the poor little guy in palworld, Jim.
They are. And so this is a little update to the lawsuit that's going on right now. And the long story short of it, so you can click the links in the website, and a lot of different news outlets report on it, to see the exact patents that Nintendo is going after palworld for.
Yep.
And, like, they're tough to read. It's all patent legalese, which, like, I tried to make sense of it, and I really couldn't. So there's an article here from Sports Illustrated, of all places, listing the Google patents that went out there. And these are ones that have existed in one form or another since 2021. And, yeah, the detail's tough without, like, knowledge of how Japanese patent system works. But a lot of it, from what I was able to tell from talking to people, came down to it's not so much the mechanics of the game, but how they presented the mechanics on digital platforms. It's a lot of really weird, like, nitpicking and, like, hair pulling, basically, like, patent-wise. But, like, we know Nintendo's so, like, insane about filing patents for basically everything that they put out there that, yeah,
Well,
they found a way.
Well, what's interesting is when I dove into the patents and some of these other articles and I went down a different rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's technical grounds and not really due to copyright infringement.
The only thing close to what you would expect is, of the patents they listed as reasons why they could sue, is one, the idea of throwing out a ball, capturing an animal, and then using it in battle. Like that, they tried to patent that mechanic. But then the other ones are fucking weird because they're like movement and collision in game.
Yeah, that's more the shit they're going for with this.
Which I'm like, wait, you can fucking patent your movement and collision in game? Like, I'm sorry. Did Pokemon's movement and collision was it that, like, revolutionary? Like, what? I don't understand that concept at all, so. And I know that's just, Nintendo probably has like 1,000 lawyers on retainer at any given time. They're like, just fucking earn your shit, because what they're suing them for in damages is like $64,000. It's not even that much.
Yeah.
Considering what palworld made. So I'm like, yeah, this is just them trying to just basically say, like, yeah, if you do anything close to us, we're gonna sue you regardless. It's not even so much about the money. I don't know. What's your take?
It's weird because it seems like what they're going after with them could be stuff they could go after almost any video game for.
That's my fear.
But it's like, yeah, like, I guess they wanted to find a way to, like, because Nintendo themselves, like, they copied Pokemon from, like, not Pocket Monsters, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess without opening that can of worms to, like, fuck themselves, like, their patent abuse, basically, they found a way to go after a game they don't like for doing what they have done to others, basically.
That's why people need to get hit sometimes, Jim.
I mean, it's true. I can't argue this.
People are too soft. They accept it. I don't like it, Jim.
I don't like it either. You know what I don't like either, Brian? Having to pee. I'll be right back.
Damn it. All right, Chambers. So this is an interesting one. Comes to us from Gizmodo. And in a time where you could argue some people are being hyper excessive in their reactions given the recent events.
It's volatile right now.
It's not something we haven't lived through already. But this article is basically saying gaming in general, and you could just apply that to technology is going to be a lot more expensive if tariffs are a real thing that Trump was talking about.
Yeah, so President-elect Donald Trump, he said that he has a new tariff plan, basically, where he's going to be going after China and going after them hard. So during the campaign, he said he would impose a baseline 60% tariff on Chinese exports. If he does that, the price of all stuff gamers love is going to go up. Laptop prices could spike by 50%. The cost of video game consoles could rise around 40%, making the upcoming PS5 Pro almost $1,000 to buy. The Switch 2 may be backward compatible, but it may cost quite a bit more than the original. So he campaigned on punishing China for a perceived trade imbalance with the U.S. It was a winning issue for him, blah, 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 blah. And a tariff is a flat tax on a trade good. So the two big proposals are 10% and to 20% import tariff on all goods from other countries and 60% on goods from China. So China will not be paying the cost of the tariffs. The companies importing the goods from them do. So companies have been clear that if tariff raises their cost on doing business, they're going to pass it on to the consumer. And yeah, then it's just a lot more, political, blah, 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 and all this. And examples and GPUs and all this other stuff.
Okay, here's my thing. And it's been a term you hear all the time is like, man, it sucks. We get these so-and-so cheap made from China. I honestly sometimes believe TV, like certain things, I'm actually shocked at how cheap they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what's actually going to happen if any of this will come to fruition, but I'm kind of like, there's a part of me that almost goes like, if the goal is you tax that so that way you stop putting emphasis on just buying entertainment shit and you try to make it American built, is that a bad thing?
No, but the problem comes in that like a lot of people voted for him under the assumption that because the big problem is the inflation we've had. And they're all voting for him thinking, well, stuff will go back to being cheaper once he's in here. But if these tariffs go through, that'll be the exact opposite. And if you see from like a lot of financial experts, quote unquote, they're like, yeah, if he does this tariff thing, that'll be disastrous for the economy in general.
And without getting into, I guess my question
and
is...
it could push people towards buying American-made stuff, but like also with like how much we've gotten used to just importing everything over the past 50 years, it's like there's not that much, especially electronically, that we buy or that we make in-house in America.
And I guess, put aside whoever you care about, I'm saying, do you think it would be better if we made more in-house?
Would it be better? Probably. Like we saw it during COVID when like we were very big on importing our medications and our PPE equipment and all the kinds of crap like that from, cheaper from outside the country. And then once all the, the lockdowns and shit happened like that, we went, oh crap, we don't have any supplies.
Yeah.
Because we made ourselves too reliant on foreign goods.
Yeah. That's my, that's my fear at the baseline. I go, aren't we technically like in debt to China by a shit ton?
Hey, China's still cool.
No. I'm asking a question.
You pay later.
But I damn it. But no,
before anyone had to say anything about me saying that.
But I literally go like, all right, if we can agree, like the fact is like TVs, like how fucking cheap they are. It
is wild how cheap they are.
It's almost absurd how cheap they are. Like we grew up in a mindset where video games were $60, $50 when we were kids. They're practically been the same price. Now some of them are going up to $70. I'm like, they never increased. TVs were like $1,000 for a shitty 30-some inch, and now you can get a 70-inch for like $600.
Yeah.
And they're better quality. I'm like, yeah, like the shit that will get more expensive is the shit that I would argue you don't need. It's all entertainment bullshit.
Yeah, true.
It's not like, I don't think food and other things.
You're buying it from slave labor, basically.
Yeah, so there's that mentality, like that old adage where you always hear, like, everyone bitching on Twitter and shit, you're doing it with this. Who do you think's making this and what conditions are they in?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't be on your high horse about this shit, wearing Nikes and all this shit, and you're like, yeah, maybe it is, like, there's a period of, like, should you pay more for knowing shit is being made the right way? I don't know. Like, that's why I look at this. until something happens, I go, all right, it's all conjecture until something happens. I've said many times, I think games in general should just actually be more expensive. If like, but on a scale, right? Like a AAA game probably should be $80, but then get rid of DLC.
Right. But that'll never happen.
No,
it'll be $80 with DLC.
That's my problem. Is like
the genie never goes back in the bottle, as they say.
A lot of indie games we've talked about. Like I talk all the time about the horror games. Killer Clowns, Friday. None of them came out at full price. They're like $30-$40, and you could even argue, are they worth that much?
Probably not.
But I'm okay because it's still like mentally, I'm like it's a lower price than a regular game. And then you get some regular AAA games, and I think that's why so many of them are review bombed or whatever you want to call it, because you're like, I'm paying $70 for this shit. Like the fact that
it's because it's woke.
Like the shit that blew my mind is I didn't realize Silent Hill 2 had all these crazy bugs until Michelle was pointing out when she was trying to stream it, and actually did something where you can't finish a game unless you reset your whole save. Like it was game.
There was a real problem with after one of the updates.
How the fuck are you that game and you have an issue like that?
That's a whoopsie.
So, I don't know. I look at this and I go, is it the end of the world? No. But you can't also be that person who's like, I want people in general to be better. We shouldn't owe China this much money, da-da-da. But then when it starts getting offered as a maybe solution, you're upset. You can't have it both ways.
Well, I mean, we're going to see, because there's a lot of people out there who one or two issue voters, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, this isn't what you meant? So I know a lot of people are going to be gobsmacked by this. Fine. There's going to be a lot of white women in red states who are going to be shocked that their weekly, daily Amazon deliveries skyrocket in price.
And that's my point, is like the shit that I do believe will, I don't disagree.
Temu,
I think
BTFO'd.
Damn it. I do think prices of shit will go up, but let's be honest, it's not shit you need. And
yeah.
I know people don't want to hear that, but it's like, you don't need that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to affect a lot of other stuff too. Like, there's a lot of building materials that we import, even 10 to 20% is going to make it worse.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm saying,
like, honestly, for Chinese-made electronics, like, yeah, that's going to be shocking and insane.
There's a lot of people that have that feeling, like.
But there's people in general going to be shocked by how much shit goes up if this happens.
Yeah, but I also look at it like, once again, we have the capabilities, the whatever, to make shit in-house, but because it's been so obviously dirt cheap, we're like, we don't need to do that anymore. Let's focus our shit on other stuff. It's like, but maybe you should build shit in-house.
I mean, yes. I agree with you there. We should just be doing more shit in-house and made in this country.
And it was just made so obviously dirt cheap, and then when you question why is it cheap, you're like, ooh, that's a tough one.
That's called someone else's problem.
Exactly. You're like, but I can still then get a TV for $500. I don't care how it's made. Yeah, like, no, maybe you should pay a little more and realize it's better for the U.S. But, yeah, we'll see.
Interesting times we are in, to say the least.
So, Chambers, speaking of interesting times.
Oh, is it a joy to be the social media guy?
So, I did love, we got a lot of good feedback last week on the Normie View, which people seem to love, and people are willing to send us some info. I love it because you bring topics to me that 90% of the time is just pure infuriating. Like, because I dive down the rabbit hole, and this one, I will say the rabbit hole was fairly shallow, so I need some context. So why don't you explain to people this week, what are you telling me about, and what am I going to weigh in on?
All right, you know what, everyone? It doesn't always have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be people ruining their lives completely. Sometimes you just fuck up. Or sometimes you just look like an asshole. Or you might have done nothing wrong. That's for you to decide. So this week, we are talking about Dreamcast Guy. So for those of you who don't know, he is a YouTuber in the gaming sphere who's been around for a while. And think of him as like a less successful RGT85. He does like the daily news commentary of gaming kind of videos, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he's another one who started as a typical gaming YouTuber, didn't really work out, moved the news, played the algorithm, and he's had some success there. So there is a clip. I don't know if you're gonna just do a hard cut and just play it in full because it's only like 30 seconds.
I mean, it'll be replay. I'm always torn with audio because sometimes that shit gets pulled right away.
Right.
So I don't. I mean, I'll have the clip in the link and I'll have it playing as we're talking right now.
So the long story short of it is, he was streaming some game, and during the stream, I guess someone was asking him about if he's getting a PS5 Pro, and he basically said he will be getting one because he will be selling his base PS5 to his girlfriend for $500.
Already had sold it.
Oh, he had already done it?
As that video, he sold it to her for $500, so he only needed to pay $200 for his Pro.
All right. So, Brian, short, simple, sweet. From the normal guy view, with no context of Dreamcast guy, and like he's a guy I'm basically apathetic to. I've never watched his shit. I don't follow him on social media. He's had some snafus in the past because like he'll break review embargoes and crap like that, and then like play pretend and be like, "Oh, I didn't know I couldn't do this." Everyone goes, "Shut the fuck up! You know what you did."
Okay.
So, yeah, there's not a ton to talk about with this guy. Like I know the Xbox diehards hate him because I guess he leans more towards PlayStation, but that's dumb console war shit that I don't care about.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, outside of like being a dumb asshole with like review embargoes, he's never done anything all that wrong. But just as a guy, just as a man who's had girlfriends and has a wife and all, a guy selling his PS5, an aged system one could say, to his beloved, his betrothed, for a full price. What does the normie have to say about that?
You want my real opinion?
Yes, that's the point of the goddamn segment.
So starting off, and it's one of the first comments I saw, I went, "Oh, he has a girlfriend." And I'm sorry, I know that's not right. Okay.
He's got the Anthony Cumia pop mark look going.
It's just
fucking pocky.
It's the way he talked about it, and I went, "Oh, he sold it to his girl." So okay, as someone, I firmly believe, girlfriend or boyfriend, you don't sell your, what do you call them, significant other. You don't sell shit to them. The fact that if this is real,
oh, Brian, it's called Bangmaid, by the way.
Thank you. I guess my first question to you is, without knowing this guy, my first thought was, is this real? Like, I can't tell. Is he a parody guy? Is he a guy like...
No, that seemed 100%.
So you think 100% like he's just telling the truth. He actually sold his girlfriend this for $500.
Yes.
Is she fucking stupid? Because my problem is, who would buy a aftermarket... Presumably, you're dating a guy who... When you said, I never heard of him before, I went on his channel... Number one, I subscribed to him because I'm like, oh, he talks about horror games. Like, almost all of his videos I saw right off the bat, I was like, I'm just interested to hear what he talks about horror games. I haven't watched the video.
I haven't looked at his page in years.
Yeah, so I was like, as soon as I saw it, I went, I'll check him out after the episode. But, like, if you're dating someone and he claims that part of why he sold it is so they could play, not Diablo. Was it Diablo?
Oh, I forgot the game, actually.
I think he said Diablo, so they could play some game together. So whoever she is, she apparently plays enough where they're going to play together. You're dumb enough to pay $500 for a fucking used system?
For like a 4 or 5 year old console?
Yeah, that... I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know the going rate of a PS5 and this, but it's not 500. I can promise you that.
I don't think they've had huge price drops, but I mean, also the PS5 Pro's on the horizon too. So
there's also, I'm a firm believer of, I do it with my friends, I do it with anyone. Like, you give a discount to your friends, family, whatever, and if your girlfriend doesn't fall into that category, he's setting himself up of like, there's a clear separation of like, I don't even know. Like, it sounds like that's more of a business arrangement than a girlfriend. I'm sorry. I sold, when I was younger, the car that I bought off my parents that then I turned around to sell to my girlfriend's parents. Back when I was in high school, I gave a discount on. So, yeah, to not give a discount, like, I'm like, oh, this is a business transaction. She's definitely fucking to do on the side. That was my first take. I'm like, yeah, like, good for him, he got the money, but bad for her that if she was willing to pay that. Like,
her bull's getting the PS5. She bought it for her bull.
That's probably, like, honestly, when I first saw it, I went, oh, she's someone either clearly clueless of all this shit, or she's just, yeah, there's something else going on. Like, that seems too transactional to me. I've never, of all the shit I've given to exes, I think about back in the day, I'm like, I could have charged them. Like, get the fuck out. Like, to my friends, if I were to sell you a PS5, I wouldn't fucking charge you $5. Like, that's insane if it's true. And that's where my mind goes to. I'm like, there's no way this is fucking true.
But Bri, remember, he lives on the internet.
Also, the real big brain move would have been to loan it to her, and if shit don't work out, you can always take it back. Now, granted, he would have put up more upfront capital to get a PS5 Pro, which why are you buying a PS5 Pro also? Like, you don't need it. There's that opinion. I think it's dumb as shit. I think if the girlfriend really paid that, shame on you. And is she real? There's all my questions.
He's a man of questions. Just asking questions.
Now, I'm just asking questions. So tell me where you agree or disagree or where I'm wrong.
Oh, no. I mean, you basically nailed it as far as I'm concerned. Here, I'll even one-up you, Brian. Your loaning thing? Fuck it. Just give her the goddamn PS5. You're a YouTuber for a living. That is a write-off for you. You're going to be getting that regardless. You'll get your money back from it as a business expense. It doesn't fucking matter. Just give her the goddamn PS5 at that point. And, like, your investment in that is you have something to play with then. Like, if she's home and you're home and you don't live together, then there you go. It's good points. Maybe you'll get a blowjob out of it. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I mean, if she's a girl, never mind. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
You shouldn't need to give gifts to get the blowjob.
To your point, Brian, have you seen the guy?
Well, that, once again, question one, is she real? Like,
I'll get the benefit. I'll say it's real.
Okay.
I don't know the guy. I don't
Even
know
if
the girl.
it's, but like, the idea of, I've been a believer of being a gift giver, so I agree with you. Like, I'd be the type like, oh, you want to borrow a movie? Just take. Like, I'm not gonna. It's $10.
And it's just like, what do you call it? Like, if you like, I can't see a scene where, like, if she is your girlfriend, like, if you've only been together for a little bit of time.
Yeah, if it's 2 months,
you give it to her
okay.
as like a good show of good faith towards your relationship.
Yeah.
If you've been together forever, you just give her the fucking PS5. Like, he's a pro YouTuber, so he's probably put thousands of hours into that fucking console. It's no goddamn Cadillac at this point. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Now, knowing that you know a little more, well, you know a lot more about him than I do. Not saying you know a lot about him, but something in my mind triggered. I went, all right, the way he's talking about it and the fact they're going to play together leads me to believe they've probably been together minimum 6 months.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Could be wrong. Could be 2 months. Could be 5 years. I don't know. But I know this generation is fucking weird with the term girlfriends anymore. And I feel like unless you're together for X amount of time, nobody wants to commit to shit. So I go to your point, like, yeah, just fucking loan it to her. You're going over her place or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't work. Just be like, I want my PlayStation back.
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually surprised, and we know some of the folks that were like defending the shit out of him.
They were just like, oh, who the hell cares? It's just like, we don't really care, but like,
it's weird.
As a man, it's not a good look.
Yeah. I also then, whoever the original tweet was from that we clipped the video from, like, that was weird too. I'm like, why
Someone
are you...
called Boulder Punch 1, whoever that is.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you clipping this one part? Like,
I mean, if you're a pro YouTuber, you're going to have haters. So it could just be a hater.
It could be. It could be. I don't know.
And apparently the console war people really don't like this guy, so he has a share of detractors.
I'm at the point where I go, with shit like that, I'm so fucking pessimistic. Like, I don't trust anything. I'm like, he doesn't have a girlfriend. This is a fucking lie. This is a shoot. Like, none of it feels real. But then
shoots are real. You're thinking work.
But then I go, you're right. But then I go, okay, if it was, like, then she's the fucking idiot.
Well, she's a woman.
Ha ha! Clip that for... I don't know. I just... Yeah, like I said, I look back, like, I'm a firm believer of, you give your friends, family, girlfriends, side pieces, you give them all discounts, Jim.
Especially the side pieces. You're paying to keep them quiet.
That's the point, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Have you seen a lot of backlash about that? Like, is this guy hated in general? I know you started off with like he went down a news cycle, but like, is he disliked a lot?
In some circles, but he's just kind of like he like this is gonna sound worse than I intended to, but he's just kind of like there. He's a non-factor. Like no one really cares that much about Dreamcast guy.
So he hasn't gone
like
down.
He's not like a DSP where there's like a cottage industry of detractors around him, but he's not like a super loved or respected YouTuber either.
So he's not defended beyond belief.
Right. He's like the rest of us YouTubers. Like, at the end of the day, we all make slop, except for very few people. So he's just another slop maker, like the rest of us.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, so if he is, I hate to say this, if he is basically small enough, like, then who the fuck, like, of all the stupid shit I've said on our streams,
yeah,
it'd be like if someone clips on, like, we don't matter enough to make a fucking clip about some dumb shit like that.
Right. That's like the advantage of being like YouTube failures. It's like we can still kind of just do what we want.
Just enjoy it. Like yeah. So here's my question.
Dreamcast guy, 240,000 subscribers. Not a bad chunk right there.
That's actually really good. Here's my question: did he respond to any of this?
I never saw anything. Like I looked for like a day or two after, and I didn't see anything on his like feed.
Was good.
So
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's fucked up. If everything we're assuming is true, you got to give your girlfriend a discount, a major fucking discount, period. And also, don't fucking... I find it very weird. I'm someone I don't believe in, like... I'm completely open, but, like, it's weird to, like, flex on, like, money you made from a transaction. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Weird.
That'd be like even if I sold that shit on eBay and made $500. I wouldn't be like on stream being like, I made $500, but like I don't know. I'm weird about that shit too. I'm like, yeah, stop trying to flex that you fuck somebody else over. Because this is a clear case. You fuck somebody over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like it.
Someone in one way you should be fucking and not fucking in another way.
Yeah. So.
There you go. Weird look. Weird look, dude.
But I do like I said, I like this normie view, and I know people like it. So what I want to say to you all is if you see something that you think is, even if you guys think it's obvious internet shit, assume I don't know it because the chances are I don't.
You'd be shocked how much he doesn't know with internet
I
shit.
really don't. And I feel like every time I discover these things, it corrupts my soul a little bit more. The shit Jim has showed me, God damn it.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. So, Chambers, 11 in the morning. How did the beer hit you?
This is a perfectly fine IPA. If you like IPA, like we said earlier, it's very drinkable. It's not hoppy tasting at all. So, yeah, I mean, for 7.8%, like this could be a dangerous one for a night there.
Yeah, I agree with this one. Like Jim said, it's good. Doesn't taste like 7.8%. It's not my favorite. I generally don't love West Coast IPAs. I moved on to their Neon Beer Hug IPA. It tasted... It's not calling it a hazy, but this one had a lot of...
hazy citrus?
Like guava.
Oh, okay.
Or like something else that was a little bit sweeter. It's only 7.7%. I like this one a lot more. I'll just say that. So, yeah.
There we go.
What else can you do when you don't have breakfast?
Yeah,
so
right. Improvise.
So with that, guys, we want to say thank you all so much for listening, for watching. Make sure if you're supporting us on Patreon, you check out our bonus content and you get your questions in. And if you are watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Make sure you see all of our latest videos when they come out. And if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, hit subscription, give us a 5-star rating, and whatever you write, we will review on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.